Hi, I'm April. I am a singer-songwriter and music teacher, and today we are going to talk about metaphor. Specifically, we're going to be talking about what a metaphor is, how to use one, and how to avoid cliches. A metaphor is a great way to explain something that might be really difficult to explain, like a really large concept, and it can be a really helpful way to describe feelings in a way that feels fresh and new. I personally love using metaphor as a way to create more imagery in my songs. However, metaphor can be kind of tricky because when we start talking about metaphors, cliches tend to kind of creep up behind. So how do we avoid cliches while still coming up with compelling metaphors? There are lots of ways to go about that, but what we're going to do is a little exercise. So what I want you to do is get a piece of paper and write down 10 really large concepts. This can be anything from love to time to really whatever you can come up with, and I've created a beautiful list right there if you needed any help. Somewhere else on your paper, I want you to come up with 10 nouns. Ideally, these should not be proper nouns, so nothing that would start with a capital letter. And here are 10 nouns. Lastly, I want you to come up with 10 ing verbs. So those are doing words that end with ing. So that could be anything from waltzing to skating to reading. Here is a list for your perusement. Once you have those 3 lists, the really fun stuff starts, because now you're able to mix and match. So what you're going to do is take a big concept from your first list, and you're going to match it up with either an ing verb or a noun, whichever feels preferable to you. For instance, a class I've been teaching came up with love is a shopping cart. But you could also do things like death waltzes. Waltzes? Is that a word? Waltzes? That doesn't sound right. Death dances. So right off the bat, we now have a ton of cool ideas. But what you're going to do is take a couple of those ideas and try to expand upon them. Try to figure out anything that they have in common, or any ways that you could use your noun or ing verb to describe your big concept. So for instance, if you were going for that shopping cart idea, you could maybe say, I fill my heart with things that nourish me, but sometimes I pick the wrong things, or sometimes a wheel gets stuck. There are a million ways to continue that or any other metaphor, but you have to really start thinking outside of the box. So really, all that you need to do is start by coming up with that big concept, matching it up with a verb or a noun that you think can maybe have something in common with it, and then just contrast and compare. From there, you should have some awesome ideas to get started with. If you found this video helpful, or if you came up with any really cool metaphors in the process, let me know in the comments below. And be sure to like, subscribe, ring the little bell, share it with all your friends, and I will see you next week. Yeah. This is Maggie. This is my Maggie girl. To put it super simply, a metaphor